Hi guys, welcome back. We're going to be talking about lesson 36 today, Algebra 1/2 in the third edition of that book. We are on page 118. We're going to be talking about rate word problems. So rate is really just something compared to something else. A common rate that you would see is when your parents are driving on the highway, they are going 65 miles per hour. Guys, if you remember back, one of our words for English to math is 65 miles per means divide, per 1 hour, okay? That means in 1 hour they go 65 miles. The reason why I like this as a fraction, we can compare this is a ratio, right? Remember, fractions are ratios, and we're comparing things, and we can use that same ratio to answer questions about things. So what I want you to do is take notes. You're gonna write example number 1. Example number 1, like I said, I'm on page 118. 20 apples cost $5. 20 apples per $5. Everything I'm writing down, make sure you're writing it down as well. How many apples can we buy for $80? So, how many can we buy for $80? Notice I put 80 on the bottom here. 80 on the bottom. The reason why is because it's dollars, and when we're comparing ratios, we have to compare apples to oranges or apples to dollars. You gotta put those in the same location, okay? So for $20 is, 20 apples is $5. The easiest way to do this is actually, let's set that $80 aside for just a second. We're gonna put that over here. Let's first figure out what our unit rate is. Unit rate means 1. So we wanna find out not what 1 apple costs, we could do that, but how about how many, but since we're asking for dollars, let's find out how many this is gonna cost. So 5 divided by 5 would give us 1. If I divide this by 5, I get 4 apples. So every dollar is 4 apples. Knowing that, if I multiply 1 times 80, I get $80, right? But what I do on the bottom, if I do it on the top, I get 8 times 4 is 32, so I would get 320 apples. Remember, this is a word problem, so you need to, your word problems need to have a complete sentence for an answer and units, right? So it'd be 320 apples. So you would say $80 buys, or how about this? Because if you start a sentence with numbers, you should technically write it all the way out, like $80. So how about you can buy 320 apples with $80. Look at that, my sentence has a capitalized first, right? And then a period. It's a complete sentence. Be good about that. All right, guys. That was example number 1. Let's talk about example number 2. Example 2. This guy says 20 apples cost $5. 20 apples cost $5. What is the cost of 40 apples? Well, we could skip that unit rate if we wanted to, because we can put 40 apples up here. Let's look at that relationship. What happens, what do I need to do to get from 20 to 40? Multiply by 2. If I multiply by 2, 20 times 2 will give me 40, but what I do on the top here, I have to do on the bottom. So it's gonna be $10. So you would need $10 to buy 40 apples. All right, guys, so that's all there is to this. Just setting up those ratios, I think, is the easiest way to deal with this. Let's look at these practice problems. I'm on page 119. It says, before we even get into the practice problems, right above it, it says chestnuts cost 40 cents for 2 ounces. 40 cents. Now I could write that with the cent sign, or I could write it like this, either way, for 2 ounces. Write 2 ratios implied by this statement. The way that we could write that is 40 cents, well, that's my first one, right? I'll just write it out again. So you have it, 40 cents is 2 ounces. We could also write how 2 ounces for 40 cents. Notice that we can go in both directions. Like with those apple ones, we can decide how many apples can I buy for $1, or how many dollars do I need per apple for 1 apple? Same idea with this. B, how many ounces of chestnuts can Joan buy for $1.20? All right, so let's set up our guy here, 0.4, 2 ounces equals, for $1.20, Now, to get from 40 cents to $1.20, I would have to multiply by 3, right? Because 4 times 3 is 12, and then you'd have 2 digits behind decimals here, so you'd have 2 digits behind decimals here. If I multiply that times 3, I got to multiply this by 3, I get 6 ounces. So how many ounces? Joan can buy 6 ounces of chestnuts. Good. Keep that in mind. You need to write your complete sentence, okay? For C, what would be the cost of 50 ounces of chestnuts? So this was 40 cents for 2 ounces. C is asking us, what would 50 cents cost? What do I need to do to go from 2 to 50? Well, if I multiply, think quarters, multiply by 25, right? Let's multiply this guy by 25. You are now allowed to use calculators. So it would help if I had a calculator. I should prepare before I start making videos. So I need to multiply 40 times 25. And if I do that, I get 10. So this is going to be $10. $10. So the way I did that is, let's go back down here. I don't know why I needed a calculator now that I look at this. 25 times 40. Well, what's 25 times 4? Think quarters, right? You would have 100, but there are 2 digits behind decimals here, so you'd have to move it over 1. Oh, because we have another. Wait, because because it would be by 40. I'm sorry. 2 digits behind decimals, so yeah, it would be $10. Does that make sense? Okay, so that is it for those practice problems. Make sure those practice problems are at the top of your homework. They used to be in your notes, but now I want to see them at the top of your homework. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in class, guys. Thanks so much.